Google has quietly gone from a search engine into a closed-loop echo chamber where AI trains on AI. The internet you grew up with is gone. You're no longer the consumer. You are the training data. This is why you need to stop using Google right now.
I mean, this is not surprising to me at all, guys. If you're a company like Google who prioritizes profit above everything else, it's going to lead you to make decisions that will be deemed questionable to the general public. And often, more times than not, the public is going to be opposing of those decisions that the company makes. Those decisions are always going to benefit the producer as opposed to benefit the consumer. It's going to be in the best interest for the producer.
Ever since AI burst onto the scene in the early 2020s, companies have rushed to automate, and that decision has backfired. A 2024 report showed that over 50% of the traffic on the internet is now AI, and automated bots generating, scraping, and interacting with content at a massive scale. That means for every real person online, like you, there is a machine seeing the exact same thing. Not to understand it, but to game it. That creates a paradox. Platforms like Google are designed to filter the content on the internet into useful search results. But now that content is heavily designed by bots, which is then analyzed by bots and then filtered out to humans.
You know what? When it comes to a company like Google, they spend so much money to develop their AI models and advance those AI models, that all because they spent so much money, it results in them integrating their AI into damn near everything, regardless of whether it improves the user experience or not. Obviously, as of now, Google has invested so much money, they can't afford for it to be a bad investment or lead to a financial loss. And this is what we're dealing with right now. AI everywhere.
Most AI-generated content, even today, is still riddled with errors, and it's fairly easy to detect. Despite this, Google hasn't followed it up with anything on the scale of its March 2024 purge to reverse the damage it's caused.
Oh, I gotta put y'all on to the 2024 purge that was going around with Google. Let's just use these companies for an example, okay? So Nike would basically buy an Adidas website that's no longer running and then reactivate it, right? And they would fill that Adidas website with AI content, AI stuff, right? With information that would make Nike look good. And as a result of that, it would make it seem like Adidas says something positive about Nike when they never did. It was like false advertising. So if you were to visit the Adidas website, you'd be like, wow, Adidas speaking highly positive about Nike. Wow, man, I like this. You know what I'm saying? But that was never happening. And that's exactly what these companies was doing back in 2024. Running it up with Google search results.
It's not down to lack of resources either. The system might be working exactly as it was intended to. Google isn't falling down on the job. It is trapping you in a loop of AI-generated content. And it's all for one specific reason. In the past, you would type in a word or a question into a search engine and then immediately get a list of links to choose from. It would be arranged by the algorithm, starting with what it thinks is the most useful. It was simple, practical, and it offered users a list of options until they found the right one. That is how Google started.
I mean, y'all can call me Unc all y'all want, but I remember the good old Google days when you used to type something and then basically links would populate and you had to click through those links to find the answer that you wanted. Good times. Until Google realizes, yo, we're missing out on a lot of capital. We're the biggest search engine in the world. And they start moving towards that direction. That's when you start to see advertisements pop up that you didn't ask for. That's when you see Gemini try to summarize everything for you. It's just the cost of doing business, man.
But there is just one problem.
Dang,
it is useful, but it's not profitable. Google isn't a humble little search engine startup that it began as. It is a behemoth with one priority: make money. It wasn't long before Google search was infiltrated by advertising, which then meant users had to look closely to make sure whether the top result they were clicking on was an organic search result or a promoted item. By now, the clicks may be pointless. Now, you might think a search engine has one job: to get you to the right place.
Yes, a search engine should have one job, and only that one job, to get me to the right place to extract the information that I came looking for. But instead, I gotta go through so much advertisements before I finally get what I want. All these loopholes you gotta go through and stuff, man, that gets so annoying. It actually makes the user experience horrible. I know y'all don't care, but I'm just letting y'all know. Go back to that.
But what if the right place never actually leaves the search engine? The zero-click result has become the ideal for search engines, providing traffic to them and no one else. This is when the user gets all the data they've been looking for on the first page that they land on. There's no need to click any of the other links.
So essentially, in other words, Google wants to hoard all the traffic coming to them so they can have a big piece of the potential money users can generate them by clicking on Google ads that benefit Google as opposed to other companies, and also extracting that data to what? Further train their AI models. I know it sucks, but that's just the truth.
This has evolved several times over the years, first with rich snippets which provide a short text blurb from each website link,
They changed
and
it
then
up.
a knowledge panel that provides a visual text and analysis of certain topics pulled from the search interface, often in partnership with sites like Wikipedia. It was typically informative and it kept traffic on Google. Then AI changed everything. Now the first thing you see isn't your search result at all, it is a Google AI summary that pulls from assorted top sources to create a paragraph or two with written text, links, and data.
And the saddest part about all this is that when Gemini comes to extract information from these top sources that was made by human beings, right? There was no yes or no from these users that put that information out there. Google just did it anyways, which leads to ethical concerns. Just because someone didn't give you the yes or no doesn't make it right. You always have to ask, yo, do you mind if we use this data that you put out publicly on these sites to train our AI models? Ask first, instead of just assuming that it's okay.
And it sounds useful, but there is one big question. Where is this information coming from? And can it be trusted?
That's what I'm curious
According
too.
to a recent study by SparkToro, 58.5% of Google search traffic is now zero-click. People get all the information they need from the landing page without ever clicking a link. Anecdotal reports from teachers talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha students raised on Google who just use the landing page as an all-purpose question and answer device. They don't know how to find web pages on their own, and that might be exactly what Google wants, to become a landing page not just for searches, but for everything.
For real, guys, you guys have to just look at it beyond Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Human beings, throughout the time that we've been on this earth, always look for the most convenient and the least challenging way to do things. The moment you introduce challenges, they start looking elsewhere. It just is what it is. It's in our human nature.
But people are noticing, and they're finding an unusual refuge. Most of the beneficiaries of the changes in Google have been AI-generated sites and Google itself. But there has been one big exception, Reddit.
That's nothing
The site
new.
has always been an unusual one. Separate from the boom in social media, only the front page is driven by algorithms. It's primarily text-based rather than video, and AI is limited to only a few summaries. And that led to an unexpected explosion.
You know, one thing I really love about Reddit, it's actually one of the few sites where it's not filled up with bots, and you could actually go ahead and like get opinions from real human beings on whatever it is that you want an opinion on. Real human beings giving you their perspective, their opinions, telling you about their experiences. It may be only too long before it starts becoming all bots, man. That sucks.
Reddit saw its organic Google traffic increase by raw numbers more than any other site, jumping from around 132 million to over 500 million in only a year. The reason for it is simple. Reddit is one of the few places on the internet where people still assume they're talking to other human beings. The combination of ease of posting with general anonymity means that people are more willing to post openly there.
The simple fact that people feel so comfortable posting on Reddit should tell you something. It's so satisfying to me that people have actually found a place to express themselves freely without facing no judgment. But I got a feeling since we talking about Google, I wouldn't be surprised if they take advantage of that. I don't know though. I'm just speculating. Come on, man. Companies gonna try to look some way, somehow, to make something out of it.
Google quickly saw that Reddit was becoming a goldmine for organic content, and it didn't wait long to make a deal. In February 2024, Google offered $60 million for Reddit's data. This lets Google use Reddit posts to train its AI models and even influence search results. It's something that likely came at a high price, showing just how valuable Reddit has become. That same year, Reddit posted its first ever quarterly profit as a public company, largely driven by a surge in search traffic. But this might turn out to be a double-edged sword.
I knew Google was gonna take advantage of this, man. It's a no-brainer. But there's a problem with these Reddit posts that Google be trying to use, because when they take these Reddit posts, what do you think they're taking them for? To train their AI models. So those AI models can think like humans, talk like humans, and basically that interaction between the AI model and the human can be more seamless. and less body. But we have to call it what it is. An AI model will never be human. It just is what it is. How is a cat supposed to experience a dog, what a dog goes through, if a cat was never a dog in the first place? Y'all catching what I'm saying?
Reddit users have been noticing an unusual surge in repetitive stories, all dealing with the same conflicts and featuring a similar writing style. Users are quick to call out what they suspect to be AI-generated stories and then downvote the posts.
Right.
But it is clear this may be an uphill battle. Reddit's data is now valuable, which means the same bot networks that made it such a convenient place to search now see it as a convenient place to exploit. Google thinks it can solve its problems by tapping into Reddit's data, but the internet may be too far gone for that.
You guys want to know what the biggest flaw here is that Reddit itself is not filled with scientists, physicists, doctors, people who are actually professions in those fields. Reddit itself is filled with people like me and you giving our opinions on matters like that. And a lot of times, more often than not, a lot of stuff that's said on Reddit between people can be infactual. So when the AI extracts that, right, it's going to output infactual information. That's why it's starting to make sense to me that whenever I'm typing to an AI model, it says this AI model is prone to make mistakes. I wonder why.
AI skeptics have long warned of a potential crisis called model collapse. This is something observed in AI training models, where machine learning eventually winds up training on itself. Because it processes so much data, it absorbs large amounts of uncurated synthetic information. Those flawed inputs then find their way into search results, and the errors start compounding inside of the system.
Yup, that's not surprising at all. When people are looking for an answer and they're using Gemini, Gemini gives them that information, right? They then take that information without verifying if it's true or not, or where it came from, and post it on Reddit. And then the AI models, when it comes to training them, they take that and give it back to the user. So it's like a never-ending cycle of misinformation, going in like a loop. And the only way to stop it is people need to stop taking whatever AI gives them and posting it on Reddit. Because me and you both know Google and Reddit are not going to terminate their partnership. So it's going to continue to happen.
There's an old saying, if something is free, you are the product. And that's never been more true than with Google. They're becoming the center of a new internet, one that is increasingly AI-generated and shaped by algorithms built on your data. And as Google embeds itself deeper into more sites and pushes its Gemini AI across the entire ecosystem, its reach becomes harder to avoid. Unless users start questioning what they're being shown, step away from it, and begin creating something new.
If there's anything I learned from this video, is this. At the end of the day, as long as Google remains being a monopoly and there's no viable competitor for the consumers to switch to, this unfortunate reality is going to continue to happen. At this point with Google, it's either their way or the highway. And I don't know how y'all feel about that. Do y'all like where Google's headed? Is there anything that pisses you off about this vid? Please let me know, man, what your opinions are in the comments, man. Let's continue the discussion there. But until then, I love y'all guys, man. Peace and love. I'll see y'all next time.